Inside Out 2 is the latest from Disney Pixar and a direct follow-on from the first outing, which came out in 2015. Riley is now 13 and off to a weekend hockey camp with friends, where she wants to impress to get into the high school team. But new emotions crash into her world, and joy, sadness, disgust, anger and fear have to contend with new emotions who take over Riley's life. I am a huge fan of the first Inside Out. It was one of the 2010s era hits from Pixar, an era in which they had a few misses. The first one was so special, and I've rewatched it several times, and each time I've had an emotional reaction to it. I remember watching this for the first time and hoping they'd do a follow-up, because it really is a concept with legs and lots of ways to develop. Whilst having an initially rocky start with a lot of info and uncomfortable things to take on board, which, considering the plot, is probably spot on, I came out of Inside Out 2 feeling like I'd had an even more emotional experience than the first. I think on first watch through, this hits you with so much, but upon rewatch I could see this becoming a firm favourite, as it deals with a lot, yet has such a compact, family-friendly runtime. The film introduces us to new concepts from the off, with beliefs that create who Riley is set up as a key focus. There's a catch-up on Riley as a 13-year-old and what we've missed up to that point, and then very quickly changes come thick and fast. New concepts in the headquarters can feel a bit sudden, and obviously the writers are filling in new, more complex ideas that didn't have to be dealt with in the first film. This picks up really well from the first outing. It stays true to what built it as a great idea in the first place, and expands on how new emotions and becoming a teenager can be a real roller coaster. My overwhelming feeling is that I want to watch this again, as it brings so much to the table. Some of it good, some of it not so much. But what it is so fresh and original. There are teen film concepts in here that could have easily felt old hat and borrowed from other films. But it feels new and places you right back in the seat of becoming a teenager. Not quite sure of who you are yet, and trying to navigate life and its overwhelming feelings. In fact, I think we got to spend a bit more time with Riley in the real world here, and it's needed as she attempts to stay true to her friends whilst also pursuing dreams and validation from older kids. The new characters in Riley's mind are fun, including the character of Nostalgia, who makes for a decent running joke, as Riley at 13 is definitely not ready to feel that way. The new characters of Anxiety, Envy, Embarrassment and Ennui, which basically means boredom in French, crash the party, with Anxiety becoming a big focal point in the plot. We get another ride through Riley's consciousness as the old gang try to find and return her belief of being a good person to its place. There are supplemental characters along the way that, although they didn't have the same charm as Bing Bong, the imaginary friend from the first, Lance/Blade, the video game character Riley secretly has a crush on, and Bloofy and Pouchy, the kids' cartoon she still likes, are incredibly effective and funny sideshows that keep the plot moving. I would say though, this is not as digestible as the first. You can tell the writers have gotten themselves in a spin trying to work these concepts out that are not as palatable as the first outing. This makes first 15 to 20 minutes feel rushed and a bit jarring. But to be honest, that's really it. If it isn't obvious, I really fell for this, and in the end, I honestly can't wait to give it another watch or to show my family. If Pixar has one thing it's always consistently delivered on, it's quality visuals, and Inside Out 2 delivers in spades. It's gorgeous, from the detailing on the characters in extreme close-ups to art styles used in Lance and Pouchy and the amazing human animations they deliver these days. It's just always a treat to see Pixar still continue to push visuals forward. Inside Out 2 represents a rare breed of filmmaking. It thoroughly explores a person going through the onset of puberty and manages to entertain thoroughly. The emotions and everything it tries to unpack are so incredibly deep, and for me this signals a real return to form for Pixar, especially as I had such a reaction to it in the third act. It's actually jaw-dropping that a film aimed at kids has so much to offer adults, but that's always what Pixar have been masters at. Like the first 10 minutes of Up, or that moment Andy gives his toys away in Toy Story 3. The narrative here reaches this great crescendo when the new emotions weigh so heavily on Riley, she starts to have a complete meltdown. At that point, my wife and I couldn't see anything for the veil of tears streaming from our eyes. Seriously, I was in pieces. Inside Out 2 gave me something to relate to and comprehend that I've never had before from a film. It honestly changed me, and films like this are what I live for.
We are suppressed emotion!
And that's it for Inside Out 2. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and say hello in the comments or watch this video next. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.